It's another beautiful Sunday. Welcome to Iron Port. Iron Port is brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Gold PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, GPHA, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times, BNFT. Get the Thursday edition of the BNFT newspaper for all the insights if you miss anything from tonight's discussion. And remember, you can also join us live via all our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are streaming live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, also at the Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are streaming live at Iron Port. You also get the opportunity to interact with us on our dedicated WhatsApp line is 053-803-7353, 053-803-7353. And we will also be opening the phone lines in the course of the show for you to make your contributions towards the discussion. So grab your phones, let's get interactive. I'll be introducing my guest to you shortly after this break.
Energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP, available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water. Or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Every day we step out with purpose to work, to build, to provide, to dream. But sometimes life takes an unexpected turn. An accident, a fire outbreak, a medical emergency. Moments we never planned for. And when they happen, the right support changes everything. Hi, I'm Serena, and at Serene Insurance, we stand with you through every challenge and every victory. Protecting your family, your business, your job, your future, and you. Our services include motor, fire, marine, engineering, aviation, and bonds and guarantees are tailored to suit your needs. Because insurance is not just about policies, it's about peace of mind, confidence, and knowing that no matter what happens, you are covered. Visit our website to view our insurance policies right now. Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS. We connect. You thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
Across the corridor and every major yard, GPHA is the choice of over 11,000 professional drivers. Visit our kiosk to register. Join a community built on safety, savings, and success. Get your official high-vis gear and your personalized GPHA ID, your key to a smarter journey. With over 11,000 members, you are never driving alone. This is the GPHA standard of excellence. Tap your card for instant fuel discounts at Shell. Save more on every fill and keep your profits high. Maximize your earnings with our real-time load board. Find your next haul instantly.
Welcome back to Iron Pot. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA. So this week, a lot happened at the port and the maritime industry. This week, GPHA board visited the proposed site for Ghana Manganese Refinery. The Director-General of GPA commissioned the ultra-modern physiotherapy unit at GPHA Hospital, Takoradi, and then GPHA Director-General also commiserated with and reassured the ABS Fishing Harbour stakeholders. These and many more happened during this week. This is just by way of update.
The Governing Board of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has visited the proposed site for the construction of Ghana's first manganese refinery at Nsuta in the Western region. The visit formed part of the board's working tour of key operational and industrial facilities with the potential to generate increased cargo volumes through Ghana's ports, particularly the port of Takoradi. During the visits, the board received a comprehensive briefing on the proposed refinery, its implementation plans, and its expected contribution to Ghana's mining and logistics sectors. The refinery is expected to enable the local processing of manganese ore, moving the country beyond the export of raw materials, and creating greater value within the domestic economy. Once operational, the facility is projected to create thousands of direct and indirect employment opportunities, increase the value of Ghana's manganese exports, and contribute significantly to the country's industrialization agenda. The project is also expected to boost export traffic through the port of Takoradi. Board members reaffirmed the authority's readiness to continue working with the industry stakeholders to ensure that Ghana's ports infrastructure remains responsive to the evolving needs of strategic industrial investments and capable of supporting increased trade volumes.
The idea is to now add value. Then we can compete with other exporters. Then we'll add value in line with His Excellency's idea of what? Value addition to raw materials instead of us depending on raw materials. So somebody will say, if that happens, then it means they will not be exporting iron ore through Takoradi. Because if they are going to process them in Ghana, no. The idea is that they will still process it in Ghana into a semi-finished product, and it is exported outside Ghana. So we'll still have the volumes that we are having.
This project is like the milestone in the mining section in Ghana. And we are also want to value add our ores and also expand the revenues to Ghana as well.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Major General Paul Seydou Tanyakolono, has visited the ABS Fishing Harbour in 2nd D to commiserate with fisherfolk following the devastating fire outbreak that occurred at the facility in June. The fire, which destroyed a makeshift fuel storage area, was triggered by a fallen tree during a heavy rainstorm that damaged an electricity pylon cable. Fortunately, no lives were lost in the incident. Addressing stakeholders, the Director General explained that he was out of the country when the disaster occurred, but immediately directed the Director of Port of Takoradi to coordinate the emergency response. Upon his return to Ghana, he said it was important to visit the harbour personally to assess the situation, engage with affected fisherfolk, and assure them of GPHA's commitment to restoring normalcy in support of their livelihoods.
The regional administration, Ghana Navy, and GPHA, and then we are coordinating to see how best we can secure the high grounds so that in the future we shouldn't have such a serious calamity.
During the interaction, the fisherfolk appealed for an increase in the supply of ice blocks from the Harbour's ice plant to meet growing demand. Major General Tanya Kulono acknowledged the challenge and assured them that the matter would be presented to the GPHA Governing Board for consideration at its next meeting. The ABS Fishing Harbour, built with support from the Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA, is managed by the GPHA Port of Takoradi as a corporate social responsibility facility that supports the fishing industry. The harbour serves an estimated 10,000 users every day, making it a vital contributor to livelihoods and food security in the Western region. The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Major General Paul Seydou Tanya Kulono, on Wednesday, 22nd July 2026, commissioned an ultra-modern physiotherapy unit at the GPHA Hospital in Takoradi. The new unit, equipped with modern physiotherapy equipment, is expected to improve rehabilitation services and provide better care for patients. Speaking at the ceremony, the Director General urged staff of the unit to operate and maintain new equipment with care to ensure its longevity. The commissioning of the facility forms part of the authority's continuous investment in modern healthcare infrastructure to support efficient service delivery at the GPHA hospital.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, Major General Paul Seydou Tanya Kulono, on Tuesday, 21st July, commissioned a state-of-the-art AI-powered Philips Incisive 128-slice CT scanner at the International Maritime Hospital, IMA, officially restoring CT scan services at the facility. The advanced imaging system offers superior image quality, faster scanning times, reduced radiation exposure, and enhanced diagnostic accuracy. It also significantly expands the hospital's diagnostic capabilities, enabling the provision of specialized services such as stroke assessment, advanced cardiac imaging, coronary artery, calcium scoring, virtual colonoscopy, and AI-assisted lung nodal detection. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, Major General Tanya Kulono reaffirmed GPHA's commitment to improving healthcare delivery through continuous investments in cutting-edge medical technology. He noted that the acquisition of the new CT scanner is part of GPHA's broader vision to provide world-class healthcare services to patients and enhance access to advanced diagnostic solutions.
Commissioning this product, I must say that the importance of this can never be overemphasized. The only thing I would say is that you've assured me, but I believe in action. Let's make sure that we put it to good use, we maintain it very, very well, so that at least it stays beyond the 10 years warranty that they are giving us. And I'm sure by the time you leave here, our people should be in a position to be able to operate.
The Director General further urged the management of IMA to ensure regular maintenance of the equipment to maximize its lifespan and sustain the delivery of quality healthcare services.
So let's take it as a personal project.
Correct.
Let's see how we can use this project to pay for ourselves, be able to buy our equipment. So as much as possible, let's try put in our best, and then at the end of the day, when IMA is out there, your names will be mentioned in dispatches that you were the people who made it possible.
Chief Executive Officer of IMA, Dr. Vitus Victor Anab Bisi, expressed gratitude to the board and management of GPHA for the unwavering support. He assured stakeholders that the hospital would make optimal use of the scanner to improve patients' care and strengthen diagnostic outcomes.
But for you, we wouldn't have had this machine today. So we want to thank you and appreciate you for all that you have done. And we give you our promise, solemn promise, sacred promise, that we shall take very good care of this machine and we shall recover the cost, and so that you'll be happy with us and you can do more for us.
"20 participants have successfully completed GPHA's intensive one-month forklift training program after undergoing rigorous classroom and practical instruction. The trainees were taken through key areas including the history of forklifts, forklift stability, safe operating procedures, interpretation of forklift data plates including maximum lifting capacity, load center and maximum lifting height, as well as the dangers of alcohol and drug use in equipment operations." Addressing the graduates, Port's Human Resource Manager Joseph Kupeng described forklift operators as critical to every organization involving in material handling, noting that their decisions have a direct impact on lives and operational efficiency. He urged the graduates to uphold professionalism, respect safety procedures, and view their certificates as the beginning, not the end of their learning journey, emphasizing that investing in people remains the organization's greatest asset.
Continue learning as you leave this place with your certificates. It's an accomplishment, but again, for emphasis, that's not the end of your learning career. Keep investing in yourself. The more you invest in yourself, the more opportunities that will come your way.
Lead Instructor and Logistics Officer at GPHA, Reverend Isaac Donko Da Costa said, while participants adapted quickly to the theoretical lessons, mastering the practical handling of the machines proved to be the greatest challenge. He said, the program has equipped participants with the technical competence and safety consciousness needed to operate forklifts responsibly, adding that GPHA intends to train more operators to meet future operational demands.
You and I know when there is a consistent accident happening in the port, it can even prevent people from doing business with us, because we have a lot of port also surrounding us. So if our port is not safety conscious, I don't think it will attract a lot of investments to come. So we are doing everything possible throughout this training to make sure we minimize the rate of accident within the port.
According to the Learning and Development Unit, it will continue rolling out similar programs to build a highly skilled and safety-conscious workforce for Ghana's ports.
You taught us not only how to operate a forklift, but also the importance of safety, responsibility, equipment care, and protecting lives and cargo. We sincerely appreciate your guidance and encouragement throughout the training.
Those were some updates from the ports and the maritime industry. Of course, today we're having a similar conversation which has to do with security, because marine cargo insurance has become a strategic pillar of international trade, protecting businesses against financial losses arising from cargo damage, theft, piracy, accidents, and other transit-related risk. So, with the implementation of the Section 222 of the Insurance Act 2021, Act 1061, Ghana has taken a significant step towards ensuring that commercial imports are insured locally, creating opportunities to strengthen the domestic insurance industry, retain premium income within the economy, and enhance trade resilience. However, despite this policy and its implementation, compliance remains below expectations, and this is raising questions about awareness, market readiness, claim settlement, and stakeholder confidence. That is why this evening I am excited to be joined by some two fine brains who know everything about insurance. We are focusing this evening on marine cargo insurance, trade facilitation, building trust, managing risk, and supporting Ghana's trade competitiveness. And I'm happy to introduce to you Mercy Nakoshi Buampong, Chief Executive Officer of Serene Insurance Company Limited. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And also in the studio, I've been joined by Gertrude Ajwa Ohene Esienim, who is the Executive Director for Whitestone Shipbrokers Limited and West Africa School of Shipping. Good to have you ladies in the studio. I'm particularly excited about this whole discussion about insurance. And in the background, we're talking about how vehicle owners will say, no, I don't want comprehensive insurance because, oh, she is. What is the biggest risk that cargo owners take as far as, I mean, from your perspective at in logistics, transport and all of that, what is the biggest risk that cargo owners take? And I'll start with you, Mercy. Oh, no,
Gertrude.
Gertrude, yes.
Thank you, Aisha. I think trade is becoming very sophisticated. We have been used to little things happening to cargo like pilferage, theft, breakage, and others. Currently, you can see that from the geopolitical dimension, a lot of things are happening at the supply chain environment. Look at what is happening at the Strait of Hormuz. We had about 3,200 ships that were stranded with about over 20,000 seafarers on board the ships. Yeah. As of June, we have about 600 to about 11,000 seafarers. Others that have to go around it will have to go longer routes, and that means that there will be diversion expenses. We have other risks that are looming up, like look at even what happened in Burkina Faso. Our women going for tomatoes, that's trade as well, right? To just bring to Ghana onions, and look at the futilities that they suffered. So trade is becoming very sophisticated based on geopolitical tensions. We have new things like cyber risk that is emerging based on technological advancement. We have regulatory compliance, a lot of restrictions on environment, security issues. So the normal things we know are escalating based on these factors. So cargo owners are now facing a lot of risk. And once there's disruption in supply chain, you can think about the delays, you can think about the frustration for your business, because you can even lose loss of market, your clients and others. So it's becoming very sophisticated. And so we cannot underplay insurance based on regulatory compliance, but see it as a risk management mechanism to sustain our businesses, no matter the shocks that comes. And you can think about things like acts of God. Look at the recent floods. Yeah. I mean, once I called my insurance company, the first question was, has the flood taken your car away? Okay. So if that is the case, then it means
that you were going to get a brand new
exactly. Car. So if that was the case, it's comprehensively insured. So then you have transferred the risk to the insurer. But if you haven't insured it, then it means that all these, so we have people who have lost things at the market. Somebody lost their house recently to fire, and the next day I called you on their way to the US. Why? There's something cushioning them, isn't it? So basically, we need to manage our risk, and it is even more important when it comes to cargo, trade, facilitation, and others, because, as I said, the risks are escalating.
So, yeah, I'm happy that you just spoke about Strait of Hormuz. We know how hard that really hits the whole world, whether it's your doing or not, you suffered the impact. So, and then you're just talking about the recent floods we had here in Ghana. That shows that, there are so many uncertainties, and then in the cargo industry, we can also face such uncertainties. I just want you to elaborate on the importance, hit more on the importance of insurance, especially insuring your cargo for me.
Well, so as we have been educating people recently, we have the Insurance Act of 1061,
yeah.
Section 221 and 222, talking about cargo insurance. And it talks about the fact that all commercial cargo coming into the country should be insured locally. The essence is that when you import things, you usually take delivery at your port, airports, or transit points in your local country. Now, when you insure goods outside of the country, it means that when there's a claim, you have to contact the outside insurer. Sometimes it becomes impossible to get the claim because some of the policies that are coming are even in Chinese and others that people don't even understand. And you might even incur extra cost, even if it becomes possible. So one, we want you to sustain your business. So there's risk transfer from you because insurance is, as I said, a risk transfer mechanism. And the insurer is supposed to place you at where you were before the loss, sustaining the risk and therefore ensuring that there's business continuity. Two, there are a lot of risk associated with transport. So just like we have the Red Sea crisis, we have the Strait of Hormuz, we have others happening at the Gulf of Guinea and many others, which can disrupt your cargo without your influence or anything that you did. So basically, to be able to stand these shocks, once you take insurance, the insurance comes in to be able to cushion you. And the transport as well, the carrier, which is the shipping lines who bring the cargo, they are governed by international conventions. These conventions have rules and regulations that regulates the shipper's obligation and then the carrier's obligation. These carriers have something we call limitation of liability clauses. So you can buy your goods for, let's say, $100,000 and be compensated for $5,000 based on the calculation of the limit. So carriers don't give full compensation when your cargo is lost, unless they've been negligent and gone outside the rules. Then it means that they've stepped outside the rules, and therefore the rules will not be applicable in that case. But how often will that be? So because of that, the insurer will pay you the full sum insured for your cargo. And there are unforeseen things like what we call general average loss, where there's an extraordinary sacrifice or expenditure that is intentionally incurred for a common adventure. This can be declared, and you'll be there and you'll get a bill for your general average contribution. That is something that nobody plans for in business because it's something that can happen for when it's at your blind side. So basically, once you have insured your cargo, the cargo insurer will step in to pay your general average contributions. Aside that, when you insure your goods locally, the insurer is here. When there's a claim, the claim can be facilitated. If they are being stubborn, there's a regulator. The National Insurance Commission is a regulator to be able to regulate the insurer when they are being, or you can report them. If you insure in China, who are you going to report? There's jurisdictional barrier, there's a barrier with the dispute resolution and others. Again, language barrier. And you are actually buying this insurance using foreign currency. So again, you are losing in foreign exchange losses. You are incurring foreign exchange losses, as well as the complexities in the claim procedure. Again, most of the insurances that are even coming in, most of the goods that come in on CIF values, they are insured on what we call the Institute Cargo Clause C. The Clause C is like your third-party motor insurance. It is limited in cover compared to what we call the Clause A, which is an all-risk policy, like your comprehensive. Good. So basically, most people have bought. Actually, let me tell you, assuming you have your iPad, what's your biggest risk? It might be pilferage, theft. The Clause C doesn't cover anything like that. So when your screen is broken or anything like that, it means that you may have bought insurance, but it doesn't cover your risk. So these and many more are the things that we're advocating for. It is for the benefit of the importer to take the insurance locally. You forget about the regulatory requirements. It is for your benefit. One, the loss is noticed here. You open your container here in your port or at your airport or wherever you go and take delivery, post office or wherever, STC yard, wherever, because this insurance we're talking about is covering all commercial goods coming through any entry points. And it is a transit risk insurance. It is covering your risk for the transit, even when you look at our environment, one of the biggest risks you have is transporting the cargo from the port to the inland points.
Yeah.
We see containers overturned on the road. So this is for your good. To be able to buy adequate insurance to cover your risk and tailor to your needs, because your needs may be different from somebody else's, depending on the trade term you are using. So when you sit down with a local broker or insurer, they will be able to give you adequate advice on the proper insurance to buy to cover your cargo.
It's interesting that you can have insurance which does not cover a lot of things like, I mean, thefts. Nobody cares if you have a particular insurance, a third party, and your screen breaks and you don't get insurance and all of that. That is why people think that more coverage means more cost. So a lot of people see insurance actually, I mean, as a whole, as an additional cost. But they really don't see it as an investment that is protecting your business. So how can we change this perception? I mean, listening to Gertrude, there's a lot more you can gain than lose in putting your money in insurance.
I guess the question is to me.
Yes, yes, Mercy.
Thank you very much, and good evening to our valued listeners and viewers. Yes, but insurance doesn't cost much.
Okay.
It doesn't cost
maybe from
anything.
your perspective.
So the rates for insurance, we are looking at less than 1%. So it's 0.025 maximum. The highest risk when it comes to even sugar. If you are importing sugar from overseas into Ghana, the maximum rate it will be applied to the sum insured. The sum insured is determined by the cost price of the goods, the cost of freight, and then the insurance value itself, and a certain percentage of duty. Because what happens is when your goods arrive damaged, the customs requires that you still pay duty on the goods.
Okay.
So it's actually in your interest to insure the goods so that after you include the duty value in the price of the goods plus the freight, so that even when the goods have arrived damaged and you still have to clear them and you have paid the duty, you can still recover that cost. You understand?
Yes, I do.
Now, the current thing is, if you don't buy the insurance locally, in computing the duty, because the insurance premium paid should be incorporated into the cost of the goods plus the freight to determine the insurer and the dutiable value of the goods. There is a certain calculation to derive the premium payable. Okay. So you may have brought in the goods without insurance, or you may have brought the goods in with on CIF. But when you get to Ghana, before you pay your duty, a certain dutiable premium is derived. You would have paid, so it's derived, you pay duty on that component of the cost without you benefiting from any insurance.
Okay.
And like she said, there's a better benefit buying the insurance locally. Okay. You know your insurer. And the insurance industry is heavily regulated. If you, we are as regulated as the banks. Okay. And we have strict timelines within which we are supposed to pay claims. Okay. So, and if you are not satisfied with the way your claim is being processed, you go to the regulator. And they will listen to you and ensure that as much as possible, you are protected.
Okay.
So it is in your interest. And there's also, she mentioned business continuity. You invest so much in the good, in bringing in your goods.
Yeah.
Something happens. There could be a collision. And collision of two ships do occur on the high seas.
You could lose everything.
A ship gets grounded and your goods could be perishable and it could arrive damaged. A ship can catch fire and even dousing the fire, extinguishing the fire, further damage could be done to your goods. Maybe they are using water to extinguish the fire, and you are carrying something that is susceptible to water damage. So it gets here, you may not have suffered the fire, but in preventing the fire from spreading or extinguishing the fire, you would have suffered the loss.
Okay.
Your goods arrive. Yes, it may be shared amongst people under general average. If you don't have insurance, you'll be required to pay up your proportion of the general average before your goods are released to you, if your goods were not damaged. And if your goods were damaged and the others are like you, they didn't have insurance, what security can they provide by way of their contribution to general average? So it is for business continue. You invest so much, but we need to also spend just a little to protect that investment.
Well, people say, well, I have comprehensive insurance, I have third-party insurance, and I was involved in an accident, and then the insurance people are doing me cobra and all of that. Like, they are just there's some bureaucracy, it's taking too long for my problem to be resolved. It does look like there are some misconceptions out there. What are some of these misconceptions, and how can we really properly address these misconceptions?
So a lot of the time it's communication. A particular document may have been requested by the insurer. Sometimes insurers, to speed up, to make it easy for the claimant, will give you all the list of items you need to be able to process the claim. But it doesn't mean that you need all of them before you get your claims processed. So for some, you need to constantly engage your insurer. Now, the insurers are also compelled by regulation to constantly follow up on claims. So gone are the days when you file a claim and the insurer is dilly-dallying you. No.
Yeah, okay.
Now there's an obligation on the insurer to settle the claim and pay up once it's an admissible claim within a specified period, failing which they stand the risk of being sanctioned.
Okay.
And this is also part of the education. We are educating the public about the things you need to know about insurance. When there is a claim, you will need some documentation. If you have any difficulty, please reach out through your broker or your agent to your insurer, and they'll be able to sort the issue. Whatever is causing whatever is acting as a stumbling block would be resolved. But we are continually educating. We have the Ghana Insurance Association educating. We have the Ghana Insurance Brokers Association educating. We have the regulator itself also educating. And we have various bodies, other bodies. And this is one of the platforms we are using to educate and disabusing the minds of the general public, the insuring public, about the things they need to know about insurance and the fact that you need insurance to move on.
Okay. I want us to look at trade facilitation and supply chain resilience, right? What role does marine cargo play in this area, Gertrude?
It plays a very important role. When you hear about the introduction that I gave, if you have people stranded on ships, that is an insurance that is triggered. If you have ships that have to divert because their routes have to be longer, they're going to spend, if it is going through the Cape of Good Hope, for instance, from, let's say, China to Europe, they're going to spend extra 10 to 14 days.
Okay.
That's about 2 weeks more, burning fuel and others. So basically, containers will be locked up. So many, your goods can get perished if they are perishable, and it has to delay over a certain period. You can lose market based on the fact that probably, assuming this happened, you need your goods for Christmas, and then it's over, and then the goods are now arriving. So there's a lot that goes on. Once there is you don't have a war risk, for instance, and there is war, it means that everything you have on that ship is gone to nothing. So it is important that the disruptions will happen, but you can cushion the disruptions. So that is where insurance comes in. And cargo insurance, the shipping and the trade world is so big that it is designed in such a way that ship owners will regulate their risk, cargo owners will regulate their risk, port authorities will regulate their risk. Everybody within the chain tries to contain and regulate your risk so that business can continue. So if you take your insurance, the essence is that you are preserving your business. You are preserving not just the business, because if you don't get your goods on time and your clients go somewhere else, you are losing market as well. So you are also preserving the market as well as keeping your business in continuity. So basically, there's a lot going on, but people who have managed to regulate their risk are still very vibrant and buoyant and going on. Let me give you a typical example of somebody who was bringing in cars. He imported 200 cars into the country. They were trucks, and about 78 of them were damaged. Oops. Based on, they were not correctly lashed on the ship, and so they got damaged. The screens and others got broken. This person took insurance from China and brought these goods in. He contacted the supplier back, and the supplier said, I've contacted the insurance company, and they said, I'm not liable. What are you going to do?
Yeah. That's where the language barrier,
exactly.
the jurisdictional barrier, all of that.
Are you going to fly to China? Going to sue them there? You know, look at the process you're going to go through. If they are taking the insurance with Serene Insurance, with Mercy here, CEO, definitely you go to Serene and they will sort you out with a claim.
So you're actually saying that if I am importing cars from China, I should take the insurance in Ghana. I'm bringing the stuff from China to Ghana. I should take the insurance with Serene, for instance.
Yes.
And if anything happens from China en route to Ghana, Serene is responsible for
exactly what we are talking about. Exactly what we are talking about. Because one, the law is not regulating what is going out. Because what is going out to Nigeria, Nigeria has the same law, or other jurisdictions have the same law. You can't regulate what is going into somebody's country, but you can regulate what is coming into your country. And even when you are doing exports, if you understand your trade terms very well, you know where your risk begins and when it ends. For instance, if you are exporting something FOB, free on board, it means that you bear the risk from your warehouse until you put the goods on board a ship. So if I'm an exporter, that would be where I take the insurance to cover my risk. Because from transporting the goods from my warehouse to the port, something can happen. And it means that when it happens, for business continuity, if I have insurance, the insurance will pay for. So even with exports, you should know where your risk begins and where it ends. But for the imports, they are coming in country. Usually, assuming you have multimodal transport, so you put your goods on a truck, maybe at a point it goes by rail, then it comes by sea. Sometimes even to determine which of these transport chains the risk happened is difficult. And each of these road legs or each of these transport modes have different liability regimes under them. So basically, once you don't have insurance, you are left in limbo on what to do. But if you have insurance, so we're saying that buy your goods from wherever. You can buy them cost and freight, you can buy them FOB, whatever. Take the insurance locally because you need the CIF value also to arrive at your duty element. Mercy explained. If you don't have the insurance, customs has a way of deriving the insurance element. 0.875% or 1%, which is much higher than even the insurance you're taking. So you are rather paying more in terms of the duty you're paying than when, and this doesn't cover any risk. It is just a penalty, if you like, for not having the insurance, because once you don't have the I in there, custom will have to derive the I for you. But if you have the insurance, one, it is covering your transport risk and all risk associated with the transport, depending on the policy or the cover that you have, will be covered. So if you have the Institute Cargo Clause A, for instance, which is an all risk, and your goods are on their way, something happens, attacks, any grounding, you know that you have cover, and therefore you transfer that risk to your insurance once you have the cover. And it is very easy to do. Once you have your invoice or your pro forma invoice and you contact your insurers, they can easily do the policy for you. So that is all we are talking about. We are not saying let the goods arrive in country and then go to Syrian and go and take insurance. No, once you have a pro forma from your supplier, you can immediately take the insurance.
Intervene, okay.
Yeah.
So from the insurer's point of view, Mercy, what should importers consider when they want to take marine cargo insurance?
Okay. So what you need to consider is the type of goods. So first of all, you need your type of goods and where the journey is supposed to. You need the insurance from which point to which point. He had mentioned free on board.
Yeah.
But you could also be responsible for it could be that you are responsible for the goods from the warehouse of the supplier. So in taking the insurance, the starting point will be the warehouse of the supplier. If you are responsible for if the supplier is responsible up to the time the goods are delivered on the ship, that's at the ship rail, then it means your cover should commence when the goods arrive on the ship. Then where does it end? And that is the ports of dispatch. Yeah. Ports of dispatch being where the goods are coming from. Is there going to be transshipment? Transshipment means that the goods will be offloaded from one ship and loaded onto another ship. That presents a different risk. Yeah. Because you remember we were talking about forklifts. Goods will have to be offloaded. Yeah. Offloading comes with it, so the forklift can go through and cause damage. The container, if the goods are containerized, it could topple off the vessel whilst it's being offloaded. Yeah. So you need to disclose whether there will be transshipment or otherwise, so that insurers will take note of that additional exposure.
And sometimes the ships don't even come directly to the destination. Yes. It may go through different countries.
Yes. So that is inland transit. Will there also be, so that is, of course, they will go through different, but for as long as it is from one point to the other, and for as long as the goods are not going to be offloaded, it's supposed to be, so yes, the ship will call at various ports in the course of the journey. Yeah. But you are looking at from one end to the other. Is there any transshipment? Will there also be inland transits? She had mentioned that sometimes the journey starts by road, continues by rail before it finally gets to the port. Yeah. There are instances where it will start on a ferry and then continue by rail before it finally gets to the main port for it to be loaded. All those things will have to be disclosed. The value of the goods. The value should be the correct value. Yeah. It is not that different value for...
sometimes people reduce the value so they can pay less insurance.
And sometimes because they also want to look at other costs they are supposed to pay, they want to reduce the value. But the value should be correct so that you are not penalized. Because if the cost of the goods is 1 million Ghana cedis, and you insure it at 500,000, when it arrives and there's any damage, even if it's partial loss means not everything is damaged.
It's damaged.
You are deemed to be, so it means it's 1 million, you insured 500. It means 500, you are deemed to be your own insurer. So insurers will pay a rateable, the proportion that 500 bears to the total, or the proportion the loss amount bears to the total.
So you reduce the value at your own risk.
At your own risk. And then you also need to, what is the final destination of the goods? It is not written anywhere that you can only insure from port to port. You can also insure to your warehouse, irrespective of where the warehouse is located. Your warehouse, so you are discharging your goods, the port of discharge is Tema. And your warehouse could be in Kumasi or Tamale, which means it will go by road, continue by road. So you can also insure from ports of destination to your warehouse. And that must also be disclosed so that insurers know that even after the goods have been cleared in good condition, in good quantity, at the airports, at the ports, and it includes the airport because marine also cargo, what we are talking about also covers aviation cargo. When the cargo comes in by air. At the airports or the ports, when the goods when the truck is in transit to the final destination, which in this case you opted for your warehouse located elsewhere, that risk is also covered. So there's the sea, and then there's an element of road. You only have to disclose to your insurers. So the value and then the cover. She mentioned 3 clauses insurance, when it comes to motor, we say covers, but when it comes to marine, we say clauses. Clause A, Clause B, and Clause C.
Okay.
Clause A is supposed to be an all-risk cover.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be covering everything except what has been clearly stated.
Okay.
So the Clause A policy talks only about exceptions, that the policy does not cover A, B, C.
Okay.
Because if it's not specifically mentioned, it's deemed covered.
Okay.
If you are bringing in things like glass, tiles, there are certain type of goods, once you meet the
threshold or the
requirement for packaging and other things, it is advisable to insure them on comprehensive, that's the all-risk basis.
Okay.
Sugar, those things, it's advisable once they are containerized, you can insure them as
Clause A.
Clause A.
Okay.
If you don't package them appropriately, then there's a reduced cover you may have to opt for, which is a Clause B or a Clause C.
Okay.
But the Clause A says everything is covered unless it is specifically excluded.
Okay.
So it's very wide. So I can't even tell you what it covers. I can only tell you what it does
doesn't
not cover.
Okay.
Then the
That's
next
quite
one, it is a
interesting.
little expensive, but it's not more than 0.35%. I mean, marine insurance, we don't have rates as high as, unless of course you've been making losses, and so you are penalized because you are within a pool. Anybody who is making significant withdrawals and continuous withdrawal from the pool must contribute more.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the rate is very.
So if you are only withdrawing without contributing,
so
then
if you
there's a
are
problem.
always making claims,
you're always
then
making
your premium
losses.
you have to contribute more. Premium is a pool. We are all contributing into the pool. So that's when your rates might be higher. Then the next clause is the Clause B. So the Clause B is also sometimes for specified cargo. But if your cargo, there are instances where cargo is not containerized, but they are carried on deck. Insurers will not usually provide Clause C and sometimes even Clause B for a deck cargo. And then the Clause C is the least of all. It is for those items which, when they fall into the sea, you can still lift them up.
Okay.
And move on with it.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So there are.
So you don't need to really cover them much.
So what it means is that the loss is when it's not delivered.
Okay.
Or the ship capsizes. You cannot.
That's
There are
the only
items
time
like that,
there will
and
be
so
a
those
loss.
ones you wouldn't usually advise that
You
it's
spend
taken,
so much
yes. But you
taking
need to
insurance.
have your broker or your agents who are also trained to give advice and ensure that you have the right cover, given the nature of your business and the type of goods you are bringing in.
Yes, you attended the recent BNFT forum. You were there, and I think one of the biggest challenges that came up was about claim settlement, right? How do you build confidence in your clients? Because I just indicated to you that people will say insurance, when I take insurance and I'm in trouble, they'll just be doing me, this kind of long talk and all of that without solving the problem. So there's definitely a trust issue. How do we build the trust between the insurer and the client
I think for claims, I think Mercy will be best placed.
So when it comes to a lot, we have done a lot about claims. And like I said, even within the GI, Ghana Insurance Association, that's the insurance body, we have some form of self-regulation. And so there's even a claims complaints opportunity for you to lodge your complaints. Then it can be escalated to the NIC. The NIC has communicated clear timelines for claim settlements.
Okay.
So even for motor, within 2 months, you are supposed to have settled the claim and paid. The same for marine. Marine claims, you are supposed to, and within the process, there's supposed to be communication timelines as well. When the client reaches out to you, within 48 hours, you are supposed to, 72 hours, you are supposed to revert to the client, requesting for information. Anytime an insured submits any information, you acknowledge receipts within specified timelines, and then you request for any additional information that you need or is necessary to enable you conclude. But these timelines are, they are followed up by the commissioner, by the commission.
Yeah.
So we file our claims returns. Sometimes they raise issues why a claim has been outstanding for a certain length of time. They are engaging. There's also training being given or workshop being organized for boards of insurance companies to be more responsible, to hold their management responsible, to accountable for meeting those timelines.
Yeah.
Then we, like I said, the education. Now we are out there in various forms. We have the educational forum for the insurance industry, which is constantly moving around the country. Now they are not confined to Accra. They do all the regions, and they speak in the various local languages, educating the insuring public about their rights and what they need to do. So I think the industry is really committed to ensuring that claimants are given the attention and claims are settled within the shortest possible time. The thing is, the longer a claim stays in your books, the more expensive it becomes. So it is not in any insurance company's interest to delay a claim and keep a claim outstanding for so long in their books.
Right. When we come back from this break, and of course, if you just joined us, we're discussing marine cargo insurance and trade facilitation, looking at how to build trust, manage risk, and support Ghana's trade competitiveness. And when we return from this break, we'll be looking at how insurance companies can strengthen claim settlement processes to build confidence. We'll also look at, as AFTA expands intra-African trade, what are the risks and opportunities that importers, exporters, and logistics providers should prepare themselves for? Stay with me. I'll be coming right back.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water. Or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Every day we step out with purpose to work, to build, to provide, to dream. But sometimes life takes an unexpected turn. An accident, a fire outbreak, a medical emergency. Moments we never planned for. And when they happen, the right support changes everything. Hi, I'm Serena, and at Serena Insurance, we stand with you through every challenge and every victory. Protecting your family, your business, your job, your future, and you. Our services include motor, fire, marine, engineering, aviation, and bonds and guarantees are tailored to suit your needs. Because insurance is not just about policies, it's about peace of mind, confidence, and knowing that no matter what happens, you are covered. Visit our website to view our insurance policies right now. Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
Across the corridor and every major yard, GPHA is the choice of over 11,000 professional drivers. Visit our kiosk to register. Join a community built on safety, savings, and success. Get your official high-vis gear and your personalized GPHA ID. Your key to a smarter journey. With over 11,000 members, you are never driving alone. This is the GPHA standard of excellence. Tap your card for instant fuel discounts at Shell. Save more on every fill and keep your profits high. Maximize your earnings with our real-time load board. Find your next haul instantly.
Welcome back to Iron Port. Remember, Iron Port is brought to you by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, and we are having a very interesting conversation. I'm sure you at home, you're asking why I should go and insure my vehicle when God is always protecting me in and out. Of course, today you're understanding the importance of taking the insurance and the risk you put yourself in if you do not take that insurance. We're discussing marine cargo insurance, trade facilitation, building trust, managing risk, and supporting Ghana's trade competitiveness. Before we went on that break, I was talking about how we are going to be strengthening the claim settlement regime so that we can build confidence in our clients. Messi, I'm coming back to you on that. How do we build it? I think Gertrude can also add a point to that. But you being an insurer, how do you intend to strengthen this process so that people can have more confidence in the insurer?
So I spoke about the processes. I spoke about timelines communicated by the National Insurance Commission. I spoke about the fact that they follow up to ensure that we work within the agreed claim settlement timelines. But the other thing is liquidity. Yeah. Now, most of the insurance companies we are all liquid. Okay. We have all met and exceeded the minimum capital. And we have correct insurance. The NIC or National Insurance Commission is not only interested in the insurances, what the insurance company is taking, but they are also interested in what the insurance companies are also buying by way of reinsurance. And so every year they look at the adequacy of your reinsurance program to ensure that as you bring in the risk, you have the protection so that when something happens, you can also fall on your reinsurance arrangements. Yeah. We have 4 strong reinsurance companies in Ghana, and every insurance company also has access to outside reinsurance company capacity. Okay. So we have enough capacity. That's also frees up, ensures that insurance companies are able to respond to any claim issue as quickly as possible, because they are not only drawing from their resources, but they are also drawing from their reinsurance and retro reinsurance arrangements as well.
Okay.
So the industry, the commission or the regulator has ensured that every insurance company has built capacity and has the resources by way of liquidity to meet their obligation when it comes to claims.
Okay. Gertrude,
Actually, let me add to that.
Sure.
Let me ask you a personal question.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you seen an insurance policy before? Not your sticker. Not the sticker on your car.
Yes.
Have you seen the policy?
Yes.
You have your policy.
Yes, I do. With Serene Insurance.
All right, that's good. Most people have never seen their policy before. Because of the police, all they are interested in is get the sticker put on their car or make sure that they've done the insurance, and they don't care about reading the policy.
Okay.
That is where one of the problems are, because if you don't have the policy to read, you will not know about what the insurance covers and what it doesn't cover, so that when something happens, you don't go and fight with the insurer.
Your insurer. So
I would advise the insurance companies to make sure that all their clients receive their policy.
Yeah.
We know that brokers are intermediaries and they act, but let's make sure that the end client has the policy, and then it's been explained about the do's and don'ts of the policy, so that you know that this risk is not recoverable from the insurer, because insurance is based on causation. So for this particular one, you see, especially with marine, there are so many intermediaries within the chain. For instance, how would you even know whether the goods you're expecting is the shipper who didn't send it? And therefore, this is something that is not subject to insurance. Okay. So if you understand these things within the chain, then also make sure that all your documentation are up to date. Okay. So what are they requiring of you? Make sure that you provide them so that it will facilitate, because until they get all the documentation that they are asking of you. So again, the documentation process should also be explained.
Yeah.
Right, somebody said it's so easy to get an insurance, your goods insured, but to even find a claim document is difficult. So making the claim documents also available,
yes.
so that the importers and exporters can access these easily to be able to. And once they are proven stubborn, go to the regulator.
Yeah.
May I just add?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that puts a lot of work at your doorstep, because if somebody is coming to buy your product, it is your duty to actually explain to the buyer that this are the do's and don'ts of the policy. Do you want it? Yes, I do. Then you continue. But sometimes if you don't really, sometimes you think that the person impliedly knows about A or B, but I think it's still your duty to do it. I think, yes, you wanted to say
the other
something.
thing is, when there's a claim, you need to notify your insurers immediately.
Okay.
When it comes to marine cargo, insurers would like to see so you don't inform them when you have cleared everything. So you have dismantled. So once you open your container, if it's a containerized goods, and you open the container and you see damage, you immediately notify your insurers.
Yeah.
They have inspectors at all the ports, and they will engage an inspector to come and look at the inspect and give a report on what they saw, what was damaged, and likely cause of the damage. Then there are other documents, but you don't clear, send them to your warehouse, try to separate them, and later tell them that, because they need that first instance evidence.
Okay.
They need to see how the goods, the way they were damaged, were they packed properly and not. So when you don't notify them for them to have that first on-site inspection and everything is cleared up and you notify them, it becomes difficult for them to appreciate whether indeed the loss did occur and the quantum of the loss. So once you have a loss, it's important you notify. If you are dealing with a broker, you notify through your broker. Your broker knows these things. So immediately, the broker will notify the insurers. Insurers will, as quickly as possible, arrange for the damaged property or for somebody to visit the location, and then the process continues.
Okay.
A lot of the time, when that process doesn't follow this order, you have a difficulty. But even that, it is still insurers are able to manage it. But it's important you let insurers get the information they need to be able to process the claim.
To process the claim. And of course, Gertrude, AFTA has come to stay. And now AFTA is expanding its intra-African trade. Certainly, there are some new opportunities, there are new risks that importers, exporters, and logistic providers like yourself must brace themselves to. What are these new opportunities and risks that, the stakeholders must brace themselves for?
Well, AFTA is good news. There's been limited trade within Africa ourselves, although we have a lot of commodities. We export most of them to other continents. And so promoting trade among ourselves, removing trade barriers would definitely be, the World Bank has indicated that about 560 billion exports to boost trade by 7%, which is about 450 million income, and then lift about 30 million people from extreme poverty. So this is actually a very good piece of legislation and good news. That means that it will also come with higher cargo throughput through our transit corridors.
Okay.
And that will mean that higher exposure to risk. It will come with cross-border regulatory risk. It will come with infrastructure constraints, so there has to be improvement in infrastructure. So you hear about the corridors that are being uplifted, Abidjan, Dakar, and so many other corridors that are being uplifted. This is important to boost integrated regional logistics. It becomes very difficult for us traveling from here to, let's say, Senegal or Sierra Leone than traveling from here to Dubai or London or any other place. So definitely there will be infrastructure upliftment, there will be higher cargo throughput through our ports and others. That will come with risk. And so insurers will have to brace themselves with this new business. The boom will mean that higher investment as well to uplift the capitals that we're talking about, and also how to put in measures to be able to reduce the risk in terms of movement, security-wise. Most cargoes currently are going by road from here to Nigeria to other places instead of going by sea, because we have limited feeder vessels to move cargo in between ports, which is something that needs to be looked at. And when these vessels come, there are cabotage regulations and others. They have to be insured locally. So we'll have to insure the vessels. We have to insure the cargo. We have to insure against, let's say, loss of hire. So the insurance people have to uplift their capacity to understand the entire marine chain, to be able to benefit from the policies that AFTA is bringing up, and to be able to expand and collaborate with each other, learn about best practices that are going on. So, for instance, we are learning about best practices in Nigeria concerning compulsory cargo insurance. What are they doing that they've been so successful? How can we implement and also be successful like the way they've been? And we learned a lot of things from how they are doing their regulation, from involving the banks, involving the customs, involving the logistics providers themselves, and making them champions of the project and others. So these are best practices. So we would want our insurance companies as well to collaborate and learn about. You see, you can't insure something you don't know about. Or you to be able to minimize your risk when you are not on top of the game, like Serene and others. They're on top of the marine game. They understand the policy, they understand. So that's what we want all the insurance companies to do as well. A lot of upgrading of capacity building within to be able to understand the businesses, to be able to understand the challenges that go with it, to be able to understand. And currently they need to put in place technology. Definitely, I should be able to buy insurance from Serene online without necessarily. Now, if I clear my cargo online using ICOMS, and I can do everything within the port community by using one integrated system, definitely we should be able to do that by insurance. And luckily, the insurance have brought about the MAID, what we call the Marine Insurance Aviation Database, which is being integrated into the ICOMS system to be able to verify certificates and others. So also their internal systems when it is intra-Africa trade and others, whether it's exports or imports that are coming in. They need to be able to have facilities that will be able to make the work of the importer or exporter easier by sitting in the comfort of their office. Now, nobody wants to move. Even your children, they don't want to go to shops and buy shoes or dresses. They'll sit at home and order. People are choosing convenience over cost. So sometimes the delivery cost is more than the cost of the item, but they don't care. They prefer the convenience.
That is true.
Exactly.
Very
so
true.
Convenience and it's one-stop shop now. We are looking at one-stop shop.
Sure.
So what can I get? So integration, like for instance, you go to the bank, you can do your transfer, you can buy your insurance with the banker and everything. So basically it helps. So they have to have deliberate expansion into the areas where they are selling the insurance to the ports, to the airports, to all the transit points, so that people easily can access the product and be able to comply.
And deliberate expansion also comes with emerging risk. I'll be finding out from you how you are tailoring your products to be able to suit these emerging risks. But first, let me take some messages on our WhatsApp. This one is from Albert Sakumono. He says, this policy is good, but insurers must make claims easier and faster. And this one coming from Rahel from Kumasi, who says, protecting my cargo gives me peace of mind, especially with today's global shipping risk. That's a good one. And this is coming from Tobias from Pokwasi. He says, how do I know if I'm buying the right marine cargo insurance policy? Tobias, I think you just have to approach the insurance, the insurers first, and probably do a window shopping. Then you can know which of them will give you the best one.
I think once you speak to any broker or
an agent,
and they are all, if for instance, if you're looking for an insurance, it's not difficult. If you go to the NIC website, all insurance companies are listed there. So their contacts, and so it's good to speak to them to be able to advise you. As we said, that is the only way you can get the right cover. Do I need a warehouse to warehouse? Do I need policy A? Or because we said that the C is, for instance, very good for total losses. So if you are bringing in something that the risk you're expecting is a total loss, then the C cover can be okay for you. But if it's a partial loss, then the C is limited, so it might not work. And it's not everything that the insurers will also give you an A cover. If you are bringing in things like second-hand goods and things, they are not going to give you an A cover. So it's until you talk to an expert, the brokers or the insurance companies or any expert in the logistics chain who has knowledge of insurance, they will be able to advise you on the right.
I think Gertrude has answered the question for the next the message I'm about to read. Frank from Techi, who says, can I choose any insurance company or are there approved insurers? Again, when you go to NIC, you will see the approved and accredited ones who
licensed
can the licensed ones.
Anisha, we have so many banks, but you choose the bank that and you know that they are banks and they are banks.
Yes,
isn't
course.
it?
So that one is a
so
choice you make.
It's a choice you make.
And the risk is yours.
Yes, so assess the risk. I think they are even rated. The insurance, Mercy can confirm that. And they,
we are all,
you're all the same. So so there are banks and there are banks, there are insurance companies, and so you decide on where you want your risk.
That's more like there are kings and there are kings.
Exactly.
So Bridget is also coming from Tema.
Try Serene Insurance.
Oh, certainly.
And she says, okay.
With Mercy here. She's giving you all the assurances today.
So Bridget from Tema says, what guarantees do importers have? What guarantees do importers have that their claims will be paid promptly? I think Mercy has explained that. I think we're running out of time, so I think we would have to be wrapping up, and I'll briefly give Gertrude one more chance, and then I'll wrap up with you, Mercy. So in terms of compliance, we're looking at how freight forwarders, shipping lines, custom authorities, what role do they play in helping with compliance in marine cargo insurance policies?
Well, freight forwarders become the first point of call for importers and exporters because they are licensed to clear cargo within the ports.
Yeah.
So their role will be to advise the importers and exporters to buy the local insurance.
Okay.
Because they go through the hassle at the ports and they see all the damages, the loss and others. And so it will be important to advise the importers and exporters about the risk involved for them to take the local insurance. When it comes to the importers and exporters themselves, they need to protect their business against business losses, unforeseen circumstances, just like we have explained, limitation of contractual obligations that imposes risk, like the limitation of liability, the general average, and the things that we've spoken about, and also even foreign exchange losses and others that they incur. So it is in the interest of the importers and exporters to sustain their business. When it comes to the shipping lines, they are not involved with the cargo insurance, but they help with claims, because when there's a claim, for instance, and it involves a shipping line, they have to give you documentation to prove. So that is where they can, yes, the discrepancy certificates. So that is when they can step in and be able to help facilitate the claim. They shouldn't delay it unduly and should act quickly so that the importer and exporter can get their goods. When it comes to the ports and others, there needs to be investment in infrastructure so that container placement at the port and others, and then the clearance procedures can be facilitated so that it will reduce the losses of the importers and exporters. And then the regulator needs to put in measures to be able to monitor the environment. When it comes to customs, they are the ones going to enforce this at the ports, although the NIC is the regulator. So it will be good for customs to make sure that people have the local certificates so that they can clear their goods through the ports. What some of the importers are doing is that the goods arrive and then they now rush to the insurance companies and go and take the policy. That one doesn't cover your risk much. You are just giving the insurance companies money to spend. So we want you to cover your risk, because there's a lot of risk out there, whether through the airports, through the inland transit, or through the seas. And therefore it is important that they buy the correct insurance and make sure that their businesses are safe. So that, I mean, you see that advert where the cat is coming down and then you say, whee, and then you land on a cushion. That is what insurance is supposed to do to your business, right?
Your back doesn't break.
Yes, your back doesn't break. Your bones do not break. Nothing breaks. There's a soft landing. And so you are cool when people exactly, and then you are back on track, and so nobody notices.
Let me give you just 30 seconds, because I'm told that they will cut us. So please, like 30 seconds. I wanted you to address me on how you are tailoring your products to face emergent risk.
Yes. So marine insurance is as modern as, anything, and it's as old as anything. So marine insurance is not cast in concrete. Every now and then there are new changes, and it's already embedded into the policy. So when you come, it's your goods, new things are coming up. The type of goods that you are bringing in, we will be able to tailor. Any insurance practitioner will be able to tailor a product to cover whatever you are bringing in. And you only have to disclose the type of goods, where it is coming from, whether there will be transshipment, that is offloading and unloading onto a different ship, whether there will be any inland transit, and declare the right value, the actual cost of the goods plus the freight plus the duty component. That will constitute the insurable value. Then insurers will give you the best of cover. But we are able to tailor the cover to suit the type of product, where it's coming from, and how it is being carried, whether as a containerized goods or it is not containerized, or it's group page, where it's coming, a number of people have put a number of items in the same container.
Thank you very much.
Marine insurance does have such products in place.
Okay, I would have been surprised if you didn't end with that. Mercy Nakushipuampo is Chief Executive of the Serene Insurance Company Limited, and Gertrude Ajua Ohini CNE, Executive Director, Whitestone Shipbrokers Limited and West Africa School of Shipping. You're the immediate past president of WISTA, right? Right. I'm very, very excited that we had this conversation, and it's been an all-lady affair. And we really delivered, right? Thank you so much, viewers, for your time. Remember, this program is brought to you by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA. We are supported by Ghana Revenue Authority, Gold PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Ports Services, and Phoenix Insurance. You also have to make a date for the abridged version, which airs on GTV at 8:30 on Wednesday. My name is Aisha Brian. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening.